Hi everyone, I welcome you all to my YouTube channel Cloud by Veed. My name is Virender, and in this particular session, we are going to build a resilient AWS architecture so that we'll able to withstand any hardware failovers and we will get notified whenever we will be having that hardware failure using the simple notification service. Now, in this particular lab section, which we are going to do over here, and as I have mentioned, that we are going to build a resilient architecture so that if anything happens with the database or maybe with your virtual machines, you will be getting notified as well, right? So you will be able to monitor the architecture which we are going to create, as well as you will get a notification. In this particular lab, we are going to use different AWS services, like we're going to use AWS EC2. We'll be using relational database service, Amazon RDS, and we'll be using multi-availability zone feature of the RDS. We'll be using AWS CloudWatch for the monitoring system and SNS simple notification service for the notification part, right? Now, the very first thing, the service which we are going to use is named as Amazon RDS. Let me just walk you through a little bit overview of this Amazon RDS service. As you can see over here, with the help of that service, which is Amazon Relational Database Service, which basically offers you a high availability and throughput, right? With the help of this relational database service, it has a very great features, which includes the multi-AZ feature, in which, if you will be selecting that multi-AZ feature of the Amazon RDS service, it is going to create multiple EC2 instances so that if your primary database fails, automatically the data will be replicated towards another EC2 instance on another availability zone. It provides you read replica so that it will able to ensure that you will not have to be lost any data from the database, right? So it provides high scalability and it has different database engines. So when we will be creating this RDS database, I will show you that what are the different engines available in this RDS. Like we have MySQL, we have Amazon Aurora, we have PostgreSQL, and different database engines we have. As I mentioned, this RDS is having multi availability zone feature. Basically, when you just scroll down over here, it will be having that feature of multi-AZ, which means that you will be getting very high availability and durability with the database instances over here, right? Now, what is that particular multi-AZ deployment of your database? As you can see over here, this is the option of multi-AZ deployment available. What exactly happen whenever we are opting for this multi-AZ database instance, RDS is going to create a primary database instance, and parallelly it will replicate the data to the standby instances in the different availability zones in the same region which you are going to use. However, we will not able to access that standby instances unlike our primary instances, right? So the main purpose of this multi-AZ is basically to provide you the failover option for your primary database instances, right? So this is what is your RDS service, which we are going to use. We will be using Amazon Simple Notification Service. We'll be using Amazon CloudWatch for monitoring the resources, and all these things we are going to perform in this particular section over here, right? So let's start this particular session, folks. And the very first task which we need to perform over here is that first we need to create our own virtual private cloud environment, right? Okay, so let me just click on over here, and we are just signed out. Let me just reload this page. Let me just sign in with the root account user. Next, let me just select my password for this email, and let me just click on this sign in button. Now we are signed in inside this. No worries. Okay, we are inside our VPC section, and in this VPC section, what we are going to do, we will be creating a virtual private cloud, the private isolated environment for our infrastructure. So first, let's click on this create VPC option over here, and inside this, you just need to provide the name to your VPC which you want to do. Let me just name as my VPC. We will need to provide a classless interdomain routing range over here for the resources inside this particular VPC so that the IP addresses will be allocated to the resources which you are going to put inside your VPC, right? And the tenancy, we will be having the default tenancy over here. Let's click on this create VPC and your VPC is going to be created. Now, once the VPC is created, you can see the details of the VPC over here. And now let's have one internet gateway as well so that we will be able to access the resources inside this VPC from the internet. So for that phase, we need to create an internet gateway, and let me give name as my internet gateway, and let's click on this create internet gateway. Now you can see that the state of this internet gateway is in the detached. So we need to attach this internet gateway to our VPC which we have created. Click on this attach VPC over here and select the my VPC which you have created. Just click on this attach internet gateway. Now VPC has been created and the internet gateway, which means route to the internet, is has not given so far, but you have created that particular tool by which the resources of your VPC will able to communicate to the internet. As now divide this VPC into multiple subnets. So the IPv4 range which you have given to your my VPC, you will be dividing that IPv4 range, the CIDR range, into multiple subnets. And let's just click on create subnet over here. Inside my VPC, I'm going to create these subnets. Let's first create a particular subnet, and let's give name this subnet as my public subnet. Okay. And inside which availability zone you want to create it. Let me select this US East 1A, and the range which you have given to this VPC 10.0.0.0/16, you need to provide some IP addresses from this range to your public subnet. Let me just provide 10.0.1.0/24. So 256 IP addresses I'm providing to my public subnet, right? And also, let me just click on this add new subnet over here, and the new subnet named as my private subnet. This is my private subnet I'm creating. So I have created one public subnet so that I can put the resources inside that subnet so that the resources can be exposed to the internet, or maybe they will be accessible from the public internet. And I will create one private subnet so that the resources inside this private subnet will not be, having a direct communication to the internet. And yes, we will be able to communicate from this private subnet to the internet as well, but with the help of the NAT gateway, not with the help of the internet gateway, right? So the availability zone, in the same availability zone, I am going to create my private subnet as well, and the CIDR range 10.0.2.0 range I will be providing to my private subnet over here. So now let me just create another subnet over here, and this subnet is named as my private subnet 2. So I'm creating two private subnets basically so that in future I will be able to create a subnet group inside my relational database so that AWS is going to use this another private subnet so that to create the standby instances for my database. And this I'm going to create inside USist 1B in another availability zone. And let's provide the range as 10.0.3.0/24. 256 IPs I'm providing to my second private subnet, right? And let's just click on this create subnet over here. So three subnets will be created: my public subnet, my private subnet, and my private subnet 2. These three subnets we have created. Now, as the resources you are going to create inside these different subnets inside this particular VPC, and we have created an internet gateway. Now, to provide the route to the resources so that they will be able to go wherever we will be configuring the route for those resources. For that phase, we need to create different route tables as we are having public resources and private resources. So first, let's create a public route table by clicking on this create route table. And first, we will be creating a public route table, right? In which VPC? In my VPC, I'm going to create this route table, and let's click on this create route table, right? Now, once you will be creating this route table, what you need to do is that you need to provide the routes to this route table. As this is the public route table, which means we are going to attach this route table to the public subnet, to the public resources. And I was saying that the public resources will able to communicate to the internet with the help of this internet gateway. We need to provide a route over here. If you click on this edit route option over here, there is an option to add route. Now, I'm adding a route directly to the internet, and the resources can go to the internet via internet gateway. And which internet gateway? From my internet gateway. And let's just click on this save changes button. So this is a private route, public route table to the subnet to which this public route table is going to be attached. Those resources inside that subnet will be able to communicate to the internet only via the internet gateway and with the help of the route internet gateway which we have created, right? And in the subnet association section, you need to associate this route table to your public subnet. Click on this save association. Now we have created a public route table and we have attached this route table to the public subnet, as well as we have given the route to the internet as well. Now let's just click on, again go to the route tables and click on this create route table. This time we will be creating a route table as my private route table, and in the VPC same, in the my VPC, click on this create route table over here, go to this subnet association, and let's attach this to the private subnets we have created. Okay, now the virtual machine which we are going to use in this architecture and the database which we are going to use in this architecture, we need to create security groups for the EC2s and for the RDS. And so far, so good. We have created the virtual private cloud environment so far, right? Let's go to the EC2 section in another tab and let's try to create the security group for the EC2 and your RDS. If you just scroll down a little bit inside this network and security section in the EC2 console, you have the option of the security group over here. Click on this create security group and let's provide name to the security group as it is EC2 security group, and the description is security group for EC2 instance, right? In which VPC? It should be inside the my VPC. And you can see that some inbound rule section is given over here and outbound rule section is given over here. So basically what happens, the security group is by default stateful in nature. That means that you can add inbound rules, but by default, all the traffic is allowed to go outside from your EC2 instance because the security group is a virtual firewall which can apply over the level of your virtual machine or your EC2 instance. And you can add the inbound roles that what we can do with your EC2 to which this security group is going to be attached, right? And custom from anywhere or internet you can use, and we just add this particular rule inside this so that anyone from the internet will able to access such inside that EC2 to which the security group is going to be attached. Now, this is the security group you have created for the EC2 because when we are going to connect the EC2 or when we are going to create the EC2 instance, we will be using this security group only. Let's go to the security group section again and now try to create a security group for the RDS instance. Now we'll give name as maybe RDS Multi-AZ security group, right? And this is the security group for RDS in the VPC, my VPC. And apart from this, there is inbound rules which you can add over here, in which you can apply that from MySQL or Aurora. If someone is trying to access the RDS instance from 3306 port range, they can only, you know, will be able to communicate to the database instance only via the security group, which is your EC2 security group, which means what basically happens over here. One side your EC2 is there, and one security group is applied to the EC2 instance, and one side your database instance is there. So if anyone wants to access the database instance, they should go through the EC2 instance only. That is what we have done over here. Let's just click on this create security group and we are good to go. Okay, now security group section is completed. Let's move towards the RDS section now. We'll try to create the subnet group for the databases, right? And if you just scroll down over here, you have this option of subnet group over here. You can see over here. This is the option of subnet group. So this subnet group is basically for your multi-AZ deployment in the RDS. Basically, you are telling your relational database that this is a subnet group. We will be attached those subnets we have created, and it will create the standby database instance inside that subnet. That is what the concept of this subnet group over here, right? So mainly used for launching your database in a private subnet. So let's just click on this create database subnet group. Let me provide name as RDS maybe multi-AZ, RDS multi-AZ subnet group, and description will be give as subnet group for RDS multi-AZ, right? And let's choose a VPC as my VPC. And now you can see there is a section of add subnets over here. So what we are going to do, we will be adding the availability zone as US East 1A and US East 1B. All other we will be just deselect, and only 1A and 1B are selected as our subnet inside only these availability zones only, right? Now we have selected this availability zones over here. Now to select the subnets, we will be able to select the subnet, both the IPv4 addresses of the private subnets as we have created. Now two subnets we have created in the private section. I think we have done some mistake because it is showing two subnets in US East 1A. Let's go to the subnet section again. My public subnet, let me check the details of my public subnet one. My public subnet in the US East 1A, and my private subnet first also in the US East 1A. Okay, let me just go to the action. Let's click on edit subnet settings. And okay, there is no option available to change the availability zone. Okay, no details available to change the network. No worries, my private. Let me just delete this my private subnet. Okay, let's me create another my private subnet one in the my VPC. This time we will give my private subnet one. Availability zone will select US East 1B this time, and we'll give the IP address range as 10.0.0, sorry, 2.0/24. Let's click on this create subnet over here. So my private subnet one we have created. Now let's go to the route table, and where is our private route table over here? Subnet association, and let's just add this my private subnet one as well over here, because we need to do that changes as well. Now let's go to this RDS, and let me just maybe now see, refresh this page. Okay, again, let's give a name as my RDS, RDS multi-AZ subnet group description, subnet group for multi-AZ in the VPC, my VPC, availability zone US East 1A and US East 1B. And now we will be selecting these two private subnets now over here. Now you can see everything is so far so good. Now everything is good. And let's just click on this create subnet. We are sorry, request create RTA as well. The database subnet group present made availability zone coverage retirement. Current AZ coverage US East 1B. Add subnets to cover at least two AZs. Let me just select this as well. Okay, now the subnet group is created as RDS Multi-AZ subnet group. I have selected all the uh, public and private, all the subnets I have used over here. So no issues in that, okay? Now let's move towards the EC2 section and let's try to create our virtual machine over here. And let's click on this launch instance button. And now let's give name as maybe our VM1. And the application and OS image for the configurations of your operating system, we will be selecting our Linux, Amazon Linux virtual machine, Amazon Linux 2 AMI. This is we are going to use over here, 64-bit architecture. Instance type we will be selecting over here for T2.micro so that there will be no any heavy lifting there, so that there will be no more bills generated and will be proceed without a key pair over here, or maybe you can create a key pair if you want to SSH into your EC2 instance via a third party tool. And in the network settings, we have to select the VPC as my VPC. This virtual machine we are going to create inside the public subnet. Automatically, the public IP is going to be assigned to this EC2 instance. We will be selecting our EC2 SG security group, to which SSH inbound rules we have given. And inside this advanced detail section, there is a section of IAM instance profile. So we will be creating a new IAM profile from here. And let's just click a role for maybe, the AWS service over here. And let's just choose the service as maybe EC2 or maybe RDS. Okay, let's just go to this AWS account and this account, and let's just click on this next, and let's give as administrator access. Click on next, role name admin EC2. We are providing basically the permissions to this role so that it will be able to access everything inside my to any AWS account to which I'm going to, attach this particular admin EC2 role. That is what it is. So let me just refresh it and let's select as admin. Where is that? It is not showing. Let me just go again with this role and let's just admin EC2, admin instance profile admin. Okay, let me just select that. And so far, so good. Everything is good. And let's just click on this create launch instance over here. Okay. Okay, so everything is good so far. We have created the virtual machine now. Now we will be creating the relational database instance over here. Now let's go to this database section over here and we need to click on this create database option, create database. Now let's see what are the different options we have. So we can create a standard database. So we will be using this easy create. So for this particular demonstration, we will be using this standard create so that we'll be able to configure the database according to our requirement, according to the specific requirements of the organization. Engine for this demo, let's select this MySQL database engine we are going to use, right? And apart from that, there is a template section over here, you can see. So we are going to create this database for development and testing environment. And for this availability and durability, you should choose this multi-AZ database instance, so that one database instance in another availability zone will be automatically created by this RDS instance to provide you the high availability. Name, you can leave it as default as database one. Master username, you can leave it as default as admin, right? There is no worries, and there is no any maybe self-managed. The password we are providing for our database, and the password we will provide as admin123, admin123. Maybe let me add anything else as well. Okay, okay. A weak password, but no worries. There is no issue in that. Okay. So once you will done with this, there is an option of the database instance class you can see over here. So let's just select this burstable class, so that if the database will be selecting as db.t3.micro, if required, maybe we will be able to change the virtual machine for the database in future, maybe, right? So now you have the option of the storage capacity, how much storage you want to attach and which storage you want to attach. Let's select as general purpose SSD GP2 over here. And instead of 200, let's just take it as 20, so that no more bill will be generated inside our account, basically. And in this connectivity section, you can select the VPC which you have created as the my VPC over here. And apart from that, the subnet group over here, this option of the subnet group given over here, what you can do is that you can select the RDS basically VPC subnet group. RDS Multi-AZ SBG subnet group is by default selected over here. You can see that is what the subnet group we have created over here, right? And the VPC security group is given over here. So let's click on this create, choose existing, and let's just select that RDS Multi-AZ security group over here, right? So we have selected the security group which we have created, and leave everything default over here. Apart from that, and $29 bill will be generated on on-demand basis if we will be using this RDS database instance, right? Okay. Now, once you will create this database instance, okay, I'm not going to create this database instance as this is not the part of this demonstration. I will just show you that how you can create a database instance with the help of the multi-AZ, uh, basically multi-AZ feature, right? Now, let's move towards another service to create the monitoring architecture for your particular architecture, basically. So the service name is AWS CloudWatch, right? So you will be able to create alarms, and you will be able to add a subscription for your EC2 recovery with the help of this CloudWatch service, right? So we have this option of alarms over here. Let me just click on this in alarm over here. So you can see right now there is a target tracking table alarm is already created on maybe 3rd of January, no issues. So you can do is that you just click on this create alarm button, and you can select the metric over here. Now, which metric you should select over here? Let's go to the EC2 section, because what will happen, you need to choose the instance ID of the instance which you have created, because the same instance is going to be monitored by the CloudWatch, basically. So let me just copy this instance ID from here. So you can copy this instance ID from here, and just if you paste it over here and hit enter button, it will show you per instance matrix over here. And from this per instance metric over here, it is showing only one metric over here. And There should be another metric should also be available over here, which is, let me just click on this plus button over here. Okay, let me just select this and let's just see. There is no other metric available over here. Okay, let me do it again. Now it is showing 14 other metrics. Okay, so which metric we should choose? We should choose the status check failed. We need to see where is that status check failed is available. So as of now, I'm not able to see the status check failed metric over here. We have network out, we have network in, CPU utilization we have, which means basically, suppose if you select this CPU utilization from here, what will happen? This CloudWatch metric will automatically be monitoring the EC2 virtual machine, the CPU utilization of your EC2 virtual machine in every 5 minutes or maybe in every 10 seconds. And you can define the threshold value over here that if my CPU utilization is more than 50%, then please give me an alarm state of in alarm or maybe insufficient data or okay state alarm, and how it is going to send a notification. Then you can use an SNS simple notification service topic on which you just use your email ID to which you want, the notification of that particular action. And if you are done with this, then you will be good to go. So first you need to create the virtual machine, and then with the help of this Amazon CloudWatch service, you will be able to monitor your EC2 instance, right? And what should be your next step? Your next step should be that you go to your virtual machine and you will be able to connect to your virtual machine. And let me just click on this connect option over here. So once you will be able to connect to your virtual machine, what exactly happen? We will be using some commands, okay, to make the CPU utilization maybe so that it will take more CPU from your virtual machine. And once you will be done with that part, what will happen? It will automatically send a notification to your email that your CPU utilization is going above on that basically, right? So that is the way to check basically the particular EC2 CPU utilization to monitor your CPU utilization, right? And the part which we will be discussing the part that if we have the database part, if one database facing some failover part, we need a notification and automatically the data will be transferred to the another EC2 instance into another availability zone that we have created into the different availability zones. For that phase, what we need to do, let me just first terminate this EC2 instance so that no more bill will be generated inside my EC2 instance, right? As we have not created the RDS database instance, but we have created this RDS Multi-AZ subnet group. Let me delete this. So always remember to delete all the resources before log out from your AWS account, right? So that there is no any bill will be generated inside your account, no any unexpected uh, bills will be generated. As the VM is shutting down, that's why it is not allowing us to delete the VPC. Okay, now let's go to the VPC section again and let's try to delete this by VPC now. Now we can delete this VPC, and always remember that if you delete the VPC, all the subnet and route tables and the other resources attached to this VPC will also be deleted automatically. So you don't need to go manually to every each and every thing you have created and which you have attached to this VPC. Instead of that, just click on the VPC and delete that particular VPC. This is the best way to delete all the resources which are associated with your VPC. Now the same task you need to perform for your RDS uh, instance as well, RDS Multi-AZ failover feature. If you want to use that particular feature, what you need to do is just go to your simple notification service And once you go to the simple notification service, what you need to do, okay, what you need to do, you just create a topic over here, and what let me provide named as topic, and you just add this standard option over here. And once you're done with that particular topic, you can add subscription. And in this particular subscription, what you can do, you just add the email option and add your email inside this. And once you click on this create subscription, you will be able to get the notifications over your email for the RDS database as well.